G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I do hope you enjoyed today's episode, and with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the Barbie, let's get right into it. Posted by user Victitious, titled, Am I the asshole for not inviting my siblings to my wedding? My sister, 34 female, and her husband, 36 male, just got married 3 months ago. I, 30 female, was appointed maid of honor. I was so excited to help her plan her wedding, and I took on most of the work since I was unemployed at the time and she's a doctor. I won't get into details, but take note, she didn't have a wedding planner. It was all me. The time leading up to the wedding, I was miserable because of how the bride treated me. I felt like her own personal slave that she felt she could kick around because she's the bride. Just because you're a bride doesn't mean you get a free pass to be a beer. Many times, I just wanted to step out of the wedding party, but I kept telling myself to just bite my tongue and keep the peace, because she's probably just stressed. After doing so much for her, she refused to invite my fiancé even though we've been together for 12 years, but invited my siblings' partners who have been around for only 2 to 3 years. My sister and her guy dated for a year before they got engaged, so we don't really know him too well. She said she didn't want my fiancé around because people would be asking about my own wedding since they've all been wanting us to get married for a while. I refused to do any more work for her wedding until she apologized to me and invited my fiancé, which she did. Not exactly sincerely, but whatever. I was hurt that she wasn't even grateful for anything that I had done for her and her dream wedding because it was expected of me to help. Cut to the day of the wedding and everything was fine. The ceremony was beautiful and the couple was happy. I was happy for my sister. By the time we got to the reception venue, I noticed that my fiancé and I were on a separate table from my family. They were at the VIP table and I was cast aside to sit at the furthest table right beside the kitchen. I figured there was a mistake and I calmly asked the bride about it since she handled the seating plan. She looked me dead in the eye and said there is no mistake. That's where we belong. At the kids' table and far away. We were seated with 7 to 14-year-olds. The groom overheard us and agreed with me, but kept quiet when my sister gave him this "don't you dare disagree with me" look. At the end of the night, though, the groom did apologize to my parents for what happened to me and said he had no clue his bride did that, but he didn't say a word to me as his bride told him not to. Because of this, I decided to not make an issue of it and just try to enjoy the remainder of the night with my partner, but I wouldn't make a maid of honor speech. My parents noticed where I was and got upset at the situation as well. My siblings knew very well that I wasn't at their table, but didn't bother looking for me or wondering why I wasn't seated there. When they heard that I wasn't making a speech, my 2 brothers walked to my table to tell me off, saying that I had to understand my sister and the stress of being a bride. Be nice to her because it's her special day and you're only a bride once. Yeah, right. I bet they'll divorce. That I'm a disgrace and a disgusting disappointment for not doing a speech for my sister, that I would make my sister sad, and I was being selfish making the night about me, when I was literally quiet in our corner. Needless to say, I wasn't having the best time, so we got up and left. We ended up in McDonald's for dinner, and I posted a story of us getting burgers, saying post-wedding meal. I made sure that I posted it after the reception ended to not make it look like I ditched, but my siblings saw this as an attack to my sister somehow. Up to this day, the bride said she did nothing wrong, and her reasoning for putting me there was 1. I didn't plan her wedding exactly like she envisioned during the process, so I deserved to sit there, when I was doing everything she told me she wanted. 2. She didn't like that I looked pretty in my gown, and 3. I needed to be punished for insisting on bringing my fiancé. I didn't plan for my own wedding yet, as I wanted to be 100% focused on hers. Plus, she banned me from getting married before her since she's older. Again, because I didn't want the drama, I agreed. But now I just don't want anyone there except my parents and a few close friends. My parents agree with me, but my siblings are upset, calling me childish, but to be completely honest, I just don't feel like paying for shit people. Mine is a destination wedding, and my fiancé and I are paying for everything. These are our savings, and I don't feel like splurging on these people. They, along with my grandparents and cousins, are all saying I'm wrong. But hey, if I was excluded from being a sibling at my sister's wedding and no one cared, then why would you be upset if I excluded you in return? In the comments, Jungle Rumble 19 says, "Not the asshole. You can't choose your family, but you can choose who you spend your time with. Your sister and your siblings are assholes. The fact that an educated doctor can state that you need to be punished and not realize how middle school child she's being really shows her garbage character. She's also outsourced the entire wedding planning to you for free and then thought that it was okay to use you as a punching bag. Good for you for standing up to her about your fiancé. What an absolutely ridiculous reason to exclude him. Again, how anyone with any basic self-awareness can say these things is just beyond me. I personally would be going no contact with all but your parents and then build your own family from friends who actually appreciate you and treat you with respect. Not the asshole. Your sister was a mega cow to you, and your siblings supported her acting horribly to you. You have the right to invite only people who want to be at your wedding and that are supportive of you and your partner. Your siblings clearly don't meet this criteria. Your sister is nasty, and your siblings are no better. Cutting ties with all of them is well worth it. Make sure your parents see how you actually treat people. Don't waste your time or money on horrible people. I would have left as soon as I saw where I was seated and made sure the parents and groom knew why. I'd love to know if there's any long-standing shitty behavior that OP has normalized, because that's what family bullies do, normalize dysfunction. Absolutely do not invite your siblings, and if your parents pressure you, disinvite them. I'd send Dr. Sister a bill for my time planning her wedding. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people would go a lot of different ways on this one. Me personally, that's enough disrespect that I can deal with, although I'd like to think that in a perfect world, I do exactly what this last comment said. Leaving as soon as I saw where I was seated, making sure the parents and groom knew why, but a lot of the time, and for a lot of families, I'd imagine that's way more trouble than it's worth, even though it's the right thing to do. I'd imagine they could shitstorm Monkey Circus up enough of a reason that the treatment that you received from the bride was now justified because you're childish and you're putting on a show. You're ruining the wedding. So not the asshole for taking a middle ground approach to this one, and I'd say putting yourself in the best situation for where this could lead to in the future. Update. Hi again. So I'll answer a few questions and leave a quick update. I, 30 female, come from a family of 5 kids. I failed to mention this because I didn't think that it was all that relevant, but I actually have 2 sisters, 34 and 32, and 2 brothers, 26 and 22. A little more on my sisters. They are the best of friends. They're the picture-perfect model of sisterly love, while I'm the middle child with 2 younger brothers. So, why did I agree to be maid of honor? Well, because I thought that it would bring us closer. In my mind, I believed that this was her trying to be more of a sister to me. You always hear stories of that sisterly bond around weddings, and I tried to nurture that because that's what they had. And that sibling bond is what my brothers had with each other as well. Any chance I'd get to connect with my sisters, I'd jump at the opportunity. It's more me just feeling left out than being a doormat. I was a very sickly child, and that's why I was mostly with just my parents growing up, while my siblings would be going out, meeting friends, etc. Which is what my siblings envied, apparently. They aren't close to my parents. Bride had both of us as maid of honors because she couldn't just choose one. I later found out that I was always the second option, and I was just appointed maid of honor so I'd do all the work, while the other maid of honor got all the praise. Which, in hindsight, I should have seen coming. While my brothers were busy harassing me about giving my maid of honor speech, Sister 2 was giving her own maid of honor speech about how she absolutely loves the bride and will do anything for her. All that crap. She then conveniently calls all the siblings at the stage to toast the bride and groom when I was crying and rushing out and walking away from my brothers. So to the other relatives in attendance, I was making a scene and making it about me. No, it's not the first time she hurt me. She fat-shamed me as a child, calling me a potato, saying things like I was a burden to the family because of my epilepsy, throwing all my makeup in the sink and wetting it because I moved her bath towel in the bathroom, calling me the stupid low IQ sister even if I'm a licensed architect with a master's degree when her guy friends wanted to ask for my number, taking my dream church from me, which is why my fiance said that we would do a destination wedding at my dream country instead. It's just the worst she's done to spite me in front of the entire family. And no, we still haven't spoken since then, and she still maintains that I was the one who ruined everything by getting upset about the seating. Now for the update. 1. We will elope. Just the two of us and a handful of close friends that were there for us since the beginning of our relationship. We'll have a small church wedding and a little celebration on the beach with the people that we love, our chosen family, followed by island hopping with our entire party around the Philippines, all paid by us, because I will spend on memories and experiences for people that love and appreciate us. The budget that we set aside for a wedding in Italy will be put to an intimate 5-day wedding celebration on an island in the Philippines. 2. We will have our reception with the family when we get home. The plan is to invite both our big families to a luncheon the weekend after. Collectively, this would mean about 80 guests max. Both our parents wanted to help pay for the engagement party and rehearsal dinner. They agreed to pay for the luncheon and reception instead, meaning they could invite whomever they please. They handle the guest list, so if my siblings are invited, I couldn't care less because I'll be too busy with my husband of 1 to 2 weeks by then. Here we can still have the father-daughter dance and a few other things like cake slicing, etc. We'll have piñatas, a brick oven pizza cart, coffee and pretzels, and an amazing Italian buffet with a pasta bar, lots of fresh fruit, and cheese. Because who doesn't like cheese? As for the seating plan, ever watched Mamma Mia 1? Yep. Think that. A long winding table where my siblings can be as far away from me as possible and as close to the service area as possible without it being obvious because they'll all be together at their own siblings' table. We'll be in the center with my fiancé, his 2 brothers, and our parents will be next to us, while my wonderful sibs are at the end of the table by the restrooms where they belong. I don't care at all if they're invited to this lunch because I really have nothing left for them. Not even anger. I'm just so done with them that I'd feel more for a stranger on the street than I would for these people. It's indifference. They've hurt me so many times that I am numb to their existence. 3. No Bridezilla allowed. My sister expects to be my maid of honor in return. Definitely not going to happen since my siblings won't be present in the ceremony. I do not need her around. I do not want her around. Yes, she will be invited out of courtesy to the reception most likely, but I'll make sure that she's set aside like I was. How so? We recently found out she's pregnant, so I'm planning my wedding around her due date. Oh well. Luckily, she's due around June, which really was the month that we wanted anyway. So if she does decide to attend with a newborn and her huz, well then, she's going to be at the kiddie table and then told to step out when the baby starts to cry. In the end, our wedding day is for us, and eloping is the only way I feel like we could just sit and enjoy our special day together away from all my siblings and family issues. Then we get back, have a get-together lunch with some good food and good fun, which is really all it is to me, a lunch. Luckily, fiancé's family isn't as insane as mine is. So there you have it. Thank you for all your messages and comments and insights. I really was going a bit loco back then, thinking I was overreacting, but thank you so much for the clarity. Cheers to the end of this emotionally draining year. In the comments, LoveAnimals735 says, "That sounds perfect. I love it. Small weddings are so much fun instead of the headache of a big wedding. No drama, no stress, easy and fun and loving like it should be. Congratulations, and I want an update on how your wedding trip went. Definitely do an update." OP says, "We'll let you all know how it goes. Right now we're deep into planning mode and we're simply just enjoying the process. Don't let your parents deter you from your plans." And OP says, "Oh, they definitely won't, but thank you for the concern. From either side, both our grandparents were very problematic to our parents for their weddings, so they're pretty hands-off when it comes to our plans." Good for you. Your sisters are assholes, and according to your other post, I'm guessing it all stems from the fact that you're prettier than they are and they are jealous. Your brothers don't understand and/or are afraid of your oldest sister, so they're on her side to avoid the hell she will unleash on them. OP said they're jealous of the attention she got for being sickly when she was a kid. Sometimes parents can be a bit preoccupied with a sick child that they wind up neglecting the other kids. If that's the case here, then the sibs would have good reason to be angry, but they're mad at the wrong person. OP didn't ask for any of this. Anyway, these people are adults and they need to get their shit together. They're old enough to realize none of this is OP's fault. OP says, "My parents were actually very supportive and did all they could to be as fair to all of us, so I really can't put fault on them. They're really amazing parents. I wasn't treated any different. I just didn't have many friends being absent from school so constantly, so I'd hang out with my mum. She's honestly my best friend. It was okay growing up, but the jealousy really was evident when we were in our 20s for whatever reason. Parents are allowed to be closer to one child if the others treat them like trash. Yeah, this ain't close to being over. Brothers are gonna be mad for not being invited on the trip and shit, sister's gonna be mad for not being maid of honor when she did it for her, and other sister is gonna be mad because original sister Bridezilla is mad. Just cut the siblings off." And the parents. OP's hate towards her siblings are valid, but she's vastly missing the huge puzzle piece who could have set everyone straight. OP's parents didn't do shit to stop their kids from harassing their other kid. They kept silent, just went along with everything to keep the peace. They didn't care enough about OP to stand up for her. They are enablers. Parents are just as much assholes as siblings, which OP does not want to accept. I don't know about that one. I can absolutely understand where they're coming from there, but without me being personally in OP's shoes and experiencing everything that's gone on from childhood until now, I'm not sure if the parents are particularly to blame. I can see a universe in which they are, in which they're stepping out of it, but if those two groups of older and younger siblings are as bad as OP makes them out to be, I don't know if there is much that the parents can do to put out this fire. Maybe OP is leaving out the part where the parents did try to sit down with these siblings and have a come-to-God moment with them that didn't work? Because who knows, maybe for whatever reason they're going to hold these experiences against OP for no good reason, and it's never going to be something that OP can just get over with them. There are definitely things in life that no matter how hard you try, you're going to have others that will never get over something as, I'd say, menial as their parent-child connection being a bit stronger than yours. Some grudges are just like that. Our next post is by user Sodob1234, titled, "I, 24 female, found out that my husband, 35 male, made a disgusting bet with his friends when he met me, and now I can't see him the same way. He, 35 male, is friends with my, 24 female, stepbrother, 36 male, since they were in college. And to be honest, they were always respectful to me, and I never knew they were bad enough to do what they did to me. I thought they respected me for being their friend's younger sister, but I was wrong. To put you in context, their group of friends dissolved when they grew up and followed different paths, and a few days ago they decided to meet again. Well, that meeting was held at my house, and at one point during dinner, one of his friends started saying things like he, my husband, was very lucky that our thing worked out. And when he said that, some laughed, and my stepbrother and my husband got very nervous. So I asked what he was talking about. And when my husband tried to shut him up, I knew something was wrong. So I asked the same thing again. He told me that when my stepbrother introduced us, he told them that I was really arrogant and a loser, and that I needed someone to teach me a lesson. And I admit, I was very arrogant. I used to be annoying because I thought that no one was smarter than me and that they were all idiots. Well, they, except my stepbrother, decided to bet to see who would get to sleep with me first. Evidently it was my husband, and we've been together ever since. This happened 6 years ago. And I would feel less hurt if he had always been an asshole because it would be my fault for falling in love with someone like that. But he is always so sweet and cute to me since we started talking that I would never have thought that he was making fun of me behind my back. When his friends said that, everyone shut up because my face said it all. I got so pissed off that I just laughed and went to our room. My husband followed me and began to swear to me that he is no longer like that he loves me, and that he regrets what an asshole he was before he met me. And even though we talked a lot and I tried to forgive him, I can't look at him the same way. This morning, he went with me to my appointment with the doctor because I'm pregnant, and when he cried when he saw our baby, I was disgusted, because I don't know if he was being sincere or not. I don't know when I'll trust him again, but I want to do it, but I can't. Does that even make sense? Could things go back to the way they were before this mess? Man, this is so much like the dead ex sending that letter to OP, and the other one where OP only married his wife because it helped him progress his career in the company that his wife's dad owned. Like, damn. I can understand why these people don't tell these incredibly damaging secrets, but it's not the right thing to do to hold on to them. Especially when it's obvious that a group of friends from your past can come and will mention it when they come back into your life and meet up. Much like in that company story, he knew that his friends would say some shit like that. In this one, how does he not know that his old friends are going to bring up this bet, which is completely the basis of your relationship with your wife? Just that attitude of, don't worry about it, she'll be right. I don't have to put out this fire before it starts. I'm sure the fire will not be an issue. It baffles me. It really baffles me, and I don't know answers to questions like this when they arise, OP, but I really hope for the best. In the comments, Sofluck2018 says, a bunch of 29-year-olds make a bet to have sex with and humiliate an 18-year-old in order to put her in her place. That is extremely disgusting. They are a bunch of predators, your stepbrother included, for being friends with these kinds of people. They are all idiots, and she definitely is smarter than them. It's like the plot of She's All That and Cruel Intentions, but gross. It's supposed to be two immature high school kids, not one kid and a grown-ass adult man. Update kinda sorta, titled, Am I the asshole for forcing my husband to celebrate his birthday only with me because I don't like his family? Edit. A few weeks ago, I found out about a horrible bet that he had made with his friends about me before we started dating, and it was not easy to forgive him. So I told him that I would forgive him if he didn't invite his family. That's why I say I forced him in the title. The thing is, my husband comes from a family that really doesn't know what boundaries are. Ever since they found out I'm pregnant, they tell me what to eat, what to wear, how to act, etc., and I can't stand them anymore. I tried 1,000 times to like them, but I can't. They are really overwhelming. I'm about to give birth, and I just want peace, and I know that with them that's impossible. So I asked my husband to go to a restaurant to celebrate his birthday because I wanted to be at peace at home. He refused because he said he wanted to stay with me, so I told him not to invite his family then because they get on my nerves. And at first he didn't like the idea so much because he never celebrated a birthday party without his family, but then he accepted. So we celebrated just the two of us at our house, and of course his family got mad at us, especially me because they know that it was me who didn't want them to come. But I don't regret the decision I made, because it's the first time in 6 years that I've dared to face them and tell them not to do something that I don't like. So am I the asshole? In the comments, What's My Password 73 says, Not the asshole, but I'm sad your youth was stolen. You've been with him since you were 18, and he was 30? You're right at that stage where your frontal lobe is nearly fully developed, so if you get the urge to divorce him, don't ignore it. Update. On my first post, I got a lot of nice comments and even messages, so I thought that it would be a good idea to post an update. After I found out about the bet, we had so many fights that we thought it was the end of our marriage and decided to start couples therapy hoping for the best, and thanks to that, we were able to move on. He apologized many times, and we had many long talks on this matter, but today I can say that everything is in the past. Today, we have a beautiful 7-month-old baby girl, and I am 5 months pregnant, and to be honest, I've never been happier. Of course, there are days where I think about what he did, but then I think about the present and what he is today, and I forget about everything because the truth is that he is another person now. Well, he was never really mean to me because from the moment we started talking, he was always caring and sweet. Only now I know that everything is genuine and he's not faking it. Although according to him, he never faked anything because he liked me a lot when he knew me intimately. I don't think our marriage is perfect because from time to time we have fights, but for that reason we are still working on our relationship. Because we love each other, and we want this to work, and we want to grow old together. So that's all. There isn't much more to say. Thank you for your kind comments and messages. In the comments, Snoo says, "Nothing fixes marital issues like 2 babies in less than a year, am I right?" Right? A 30-year-old banging an 18-year-old is a bet? Completely normal. OP fell directly into every creep's dreams. Marriage and 2 babies before she knows what red flags look like. She's trapped herself and calls it love. Yeah, they basically made a bet to see who could baby trap a teen fastest, and the worst man won. Makes sense why he never told her. Wouldn't want to ruin the fairy tale. Don't worry, in about 10 to 15 years, we'll see her back here after her hubby cheats on her with the next 18-year-old. Or she's going to be a stay-at-home mum and housewife, and 10 years later, she's going to be sick of doing 100% of the housework and 100% of the parenting, living like she's in the 1950s. A fight will probably explode over dinner not being on the table when he walks in the door, and she'll get fed up and want to leave and make threats, but then it hits her. She's never had a job, and she has no skill set, no independence, and no life outside her home. She doesn't have her own money, and she can't support herself, let alone kids. All the credit cards and money accounts, the house, and the cars are all in his name. He'll probably have isolated her from her friends and family, and she's trapped, and she can't leave. Her husband's family will continue to not like her, and only look at her as a human incubator and a slave to her husband. She'll be a 35-year-old woman, realizing she'll never be able to survive without her husband, and it will be exactly what was planned by her husband all those years ago. Please look out for your daughter. You are not surrounded by safe men. You were an innocent child when they started too. Who's to say a new countdown won't start for her? What did your therapist say? Did they call out his predatory and grooming actions? I just don't see a licensed professional mediating with a predator. He was nice and sweet because it was an act to win the bet. I'm so sorry that you don't see that, according to him, he never faked anything because he liked me a lot when he knew me intimately. When, not before. It was an act, and then he liked you. After. He's not a good guy. You and your children truly deserve better. I hope you realize that one day. Final update, titled, "Am I wrong for wanting to forgive my stepbrother after he made a disgusting bet with my husband about me in the past?" So my relationship with my stepbrother at first was really bad. We couldn't even stand each other, which led him to make a bet with his friends to teach me a lesson 6 years ago. That disgusting bet was that one of them had to manage to sleep with me to, as I said before, teach me a lesson after leaving me. Long story short, my husband was the one who won, and we've been together ever since. And I wish I could say that I always knew about the bet and was dumb enough to decide to marry him, but no. I found out about the bet almost a year ago, and it shattered my world. Thanks to that, I had to go to individual and couples therapy for months because it was difficult for me to forgive my husband. But we both worked for our marriage and our child, and today I can say that we are really happy. But I can't say the same for my stepbrother. When I found out about the bet, my husband apologized in 1,000 ways and has spent the last few months showing me that he really loves me and never faked anything in our relationship. According to him, since we started talking, he liked me and everything was genuine, but my stepbrother never apologized because according to him, I should thank him. Because thanks to him, I stopped being so annoying and I found the love of my life and the father of my children. And I thought he was joking, but he really meant it, and we had a horrible fight about it, and since he didn't give in, we haven't talked again. He only contacted me a few days ago because it was my 25th birthday. He called me and I didn't pick up the phone, so he left a voicemail saying that he misses me and that he's very sorry, that he now understands that what he did a few years ago was disgusting and that it should have never happened. That he knows that I'm pregnant and that it hurts him to know that he's not going to meet this baby either. That he wants me to be his little sister again and a lot of other things. And honestly, hearing it after so long broke my heart because I really do miss him. After I started dating my husband, our relationship improved a lot, and we have come to consider ourselves family, and I was used to counting on him for everything, and now I miss him so much. I want to forgive him and give him another chance, but I don't know. I've asked my friends, my husband, and my family for advice, and they all told me that it's a decision that only I should make. But I'm so confused. Would it be very stupid to forgive him? Am I wrong for that? In the comments. Before moving on to letting them back in your life, I'd want to know what happened that he now says that he understood what he did was disgusting. Truthfully, this sounds like something happened to him and not that he had some sort of realization. For me, it's about motive before I let someone who did something terrible to me back into my life. I'd also ask myself why I want to forgive him and let him back in. Now, forgiveness is only something you can do, and it has to be something that gives you peace, not him, not your husband, not your family. Also, forgiveness doesn't mean that you guys are all sunshine and rainbows either and act like a big happy family. You can forgive and keep him at an arm's length. You can forgive and continue never speaking, as long as it brings you peace. That's what matters. I also wanted to point out that you should take your time in deciding. Just because he left a message doesn't mean you have to immediately reply. Take your time. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.